Developing higher quality planetary imagery. Improvements on space exploration technology. NASA is working on a new space telescope that plans to be launched in 2030. It will be located in Lagrange Point 2, allowing us to view deep space. We must design a new image capturing system capable of processing both UV and visible light. It must be deployable with an existing launch system, have a service life of 60 years, must improve the area of light collection and consequent data increase by 15%, must fit the same budget as the Hubble telescope, $2.5 billion, must weigh less or equal to the mass of the Hubble telescope, 12,000 kilograms, and must be maintainable. My design focuses on the optical portion of the telescope system. Instead of using refractive telescopes, we will use a more light-effective capturing reflective telescope called a Cassegrain telescope. The Cassegrain reflector setup consists of two mirrors, one circular concave mirror with a donut hole, and a smaller concave mirror centered and suspended facing the larger mirror. The light bounces off the larger mirror onto the smaller one, which directs the lights towards the centers hidden behind the donut hole. The best way to achieve our criteria of increasing our data by 15% is through creating a larger reflective area. The innovation in this design comes from the manner in which the mirrors of the optical telescope unfold from a travel position to a more permanent usage position. Using the paper folding art form of origami and the mechanism of a reversible umbrella, we should be able to unfold a mirror 10 times larger than that of the James Webb Telescope mirror, which has a diameter of 6.5 meters. Now, a single optical telescope will not beat this diameter, but a combination of three of these umbrella folding telescopes will. There will be some blind spots since circles can't fit together without the formation of gaps, but this can be accepted and programmed around. The mirrors themselves have a thickness of 0.5 millimeter and would have gone through a rigorous eliminations process to make them smoother and grab more accurate data.
My satellite, the Double Scope Wheel, is a satellite that contains two telescopes that contain sensors that can detect various emissions to take an image while having more pixels to maximize the resolution. In addition to the more pixels we've added, the spectrograph has also been enhanced to transmit light into wavelengths, which will be analyzed further upon. Also, we have polished our lenses that can bend light at the right angle based on the wavelength that we transmit. These innovations are the next steps towards grasping images from a distance while making it clear for us viewers at Earth.
So, imaging satellite comes in two different variations with different objectives. One is like the Hubble Space Telescope, which is very large. It faces away from Earth, and it gives us images of celestial bodies beyond Earth. However, there's also Earth observation satellites. They face Earth, and they take pictures of the maps, the weather, and basically they're only focused on getting information from Earth itself. So I was thinking, what if we combined the two to make a double-sided imaging satellite? It has two sides. One side is able to capture Earth, like the Earth observation satellites, and the other side is able to function as like a Hubble Space Telescope, which gives us images of celestial bodies beyond Earth. This design allows us to be super efficient and see both beyond Earth and Earth itself. And since they're combined into two, that means there's going to be less satellites we have to put out in space. And as the junk in space in our orbit increases, this is going to be a very important problem that we have to take care of.
My design is basically a self-sufficient satellite that enters the orbit of a planet and revolves around said planet while taking high-definition images and maps out the surface. The satellite also records the weather patterns of the planet and takes into consideration the terrain and climate of the planet in order to determine if it is habitable or not. The satellite powers itself using the solar panels on its side, and if a planet is deemed uninhabitable, this can still be used to determine if the planet potentially has minerals or materials not found on Earth, which could be useful to humans.
My design is meant to improve the results of previous tasks with capturing planetary images. My design will utilize both wide and narrow angle cameras. It will use filters to obstruct some emissions while receiving others. The signals will then be used to create a select number of images designed to show the planets the way they are. The compact shape will be designed in a way that will allow the orbital instrument to protrude or retreat back into the initial shell. This solves the problem of wobbling parts, as in the Cassini's wobbling part. It's also designed to be more affordable and on budget. The filters will block out some emissions while receiving others, meaning that it'll make images using the filters, and then the individual images will be stacked together to create the full images of the planet. The wide-angle camera will be mostly for long shots, meanwhile the narrow will be for more of a zoom shot to capture stuff like texture.
Alright, so as you can see here, we decided to our weighted analysis on this. Obviously, the one we like the most, or the most important parts of this, is being able to process both UV and visible light. It's able to be deployed with an existing launch system. We don't want to invent a new one. And data increase goes up by about at least 15%. Something we don't really mind to compensate for would be service life. And the cost for it, because satellites are very expensive, and also the maintenance, because satellites get up there and they take a lot of damage. However, we also want to take a look at the weight and make sure it should be less than the Hubble Space Telescope, because we still want to get it out there in orbit, and we don't want it to we don't want any problems trying to get it in orbit. And as you can see here, at the total of 270, the only ones that come close are Helena's and Melanie's designs, as they take on the criteria of being able to process both UV and visible light, data increases, and deployable with the existing launch system. However, mine, Jose's, and Salar's are a little bit less, because we fall short in a couple of these. But however, we decided to choose my design, the double-sided image satellite, because although this option did not dominate in terms of the weighted analysis portion, we favored its design. The idea of a double-sided satellite was innovative and gave us a lot of leeway in how we are able to implement the product. So at the end, despite it losing in the cost analysis, we still decided to pick it because the design was innovative and they gave us a lot of room to improve on it, and there's many ways to use the double-sided satellite. Thank you.